of Taiwan. I'm Ethan Liu with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan's three-man opposition presidential hopefuls had a last-minute meeting to discuss a coalition ticket before Friday candidate registration deadline. Sully Anson was on the scene when the talks fell apart.
Taiwan's three main opposition candidates have just left the Grand Hyatt Hotel in Taipei after being unable to come to a decision on forming a joint opposition coalition ticket for the presidential elections in January. Now there's less than 24 hours left until the registration deadline, and the Kuomintang or KMT's candidate Hou You-yi met with the Taiwan People's Party or TPP candidate Ko Wen-je, as well as the independent candidate Terry Guo, and the former president Ma Ying-jeou of the KMT and the KMT chair Eric Chu were also there. And the five of them had over an hour-long discussion, and with less than 24 hours to go, it looks like the chance for them to form a coalition trying to unseat the ruling Democratic Progressive Party is looking less and less likely. Devin Tsai and Sally Jensen in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Friday is the last day for candidates to register, and the deep divisions between the three opposition camps gave the ruling DPP a shot at winning the election. John Van Triest has a wrap-up of how we got here.
Not that long ago, Taiwan's opposition had high hopes for these two men. Kuomintang candidate Hou You-yi and Taiwan People's Party candidate Ko Wen-je were supposed to join forces. They promised to oust the ruling DPP by rallying those tired of their 8-year hold on the presidency. If they can get enough undecided voters, recent polls give them a shot at winning. And in theory, they still could. But while they have shared goals of wanting to oust the DPP and bring warmer ties with China, they've failed to team up. And the deadline for candidates to register is Friday, leaving them with just one day to figure it all out. The problem is this. For an alliance to work, one of them has to drop out to serve as the other's running mate. And neither wants to be the one to do it. Opinion polls were supposed to decide the matter fairly, with the less popular one conceding. But that led to arguments about the details. Now, Hou's camp wants a fresh look at the polls, something Ko's camp says is pointless. The situation's getting heated.
柯市长，你到底要不要？一句话。
其实科学就是科学，同样的数据不会有不同的结果。现在又要重新再做计算。 等于重新来过，其实也是当天晚上5个半小时。那我们不晓得到底在做什么。
Ko Wen-je has noted the disarray, but says there's still time for a solution.
美国方面也有问我，我说台湾是一个充满惊奇的岛屿。
The Ke-Hou split is only half the equation, though, because the opposition is split 3 ways. Electronics mogul Terry Guo also wants to challenge the ruling party, and while he's gone quiet lately, it looks like he'll soon be back in the fray.
今天我就是来领表，然后把该做的程序就做好。
And that leaves the ruling DPP's candidate Lai Ching-te, the one who stands to gain from a split opposition. He's contrasted his side's steady unity with the opposition's infighting.
台湾在这个当下是经不起纷乱，更经不起试验，必须要有经验，而且充满历练的经验的这个候选人。
With so many choices and almost a fifth of likely voters undecided, this election is far from settling down. And the turmoil leading up to Friday's deadline is likely just the first act in a contentious election season. Kama Xu and John Van Triest for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's President Tsai has inspected troops in the central city of Taichung ahead of the first wave of one-year conscripts. They will start training next year. Soldiers were practicing how to fight on the simulated battlefield and learned how to maneuver through different obstacles. The troops were training in an upgraded facility that will be used for next year's conscripts, which will be the first under the extended one-year service plan. Taiwan's president says that the changes in military service are part of efforts to safeguard the nation's security and protect Taiwan's democracy. A man convicted of killing 2 police officers in Taiwan's southern city of Tainan has been sentenced to death. Ling Xingwu was guilty of stabbing the officers during the struggle in August last year. The incident started public discussion about improving protections for Taiwan's police officers. Lin can still appeal his sentence. The death penalty, meanwhile, is a topic of controversy in Taiwan, which often champions its record on human rights. There is internal pressure in the country to get rid of capital punishment, but support among Taiwanese to keep it remains very high. The last time Taiwan executed a prisoner was in 2020. Education groups are criticizing Taiwan's laws meant to protect students from abusive teachers. They say the regulations put in place in 2020 are ineffective. Only one teacher has been banned from work for life under the revised law. Parents and education groups say complaints go unreported and offending teachers unpunished. They're calling for external investigation committees to handle complaints.
如果每一年都处理不完的个案，那就是体制上的问题。我们支持现在目前教育部的主张，校事会议的调查委员呢全部外聘。
Hand-painted movie billboards were once a huge part of Taiwan's film industry. Now there is only one artist in the country keeping the tradition alive. Philip Bossart went to southern Tainan City to meet this living national treasure.
The deep blues of this avatar billboard are slowly covered over by what will be the bubblegum pink of the latest Barbie film. Hand-painting movie billboards is an act of creation, even as it destroys. And with every new creation, Taiwan's last movie billboard painter brings the country's once thriving industry closer to its end.
如果要像我功夫这么好，没有办法，可能没有办法，找不到第二个没有。
Yen Zhenfa is now 70 years old, and his eyesight is now failing after dedicating over half a century to his craft. Yen has been painting billboards for the Trenmei Theater in Taiwan's southern Tainan city for over 2 decades. This cinema is the last in the country keeping the tradition alive.
它比较有那笔触要有比较有生命力啊，你用摄影的那个海报那个很呆板呢。
Tickets at Trenmei are cheap, and they are stamped by hand at the booth, just like in the past. The cinema is also where 3-time Oscar-winning director Ang Lee says he found his love for film. The owner of Trenmei says that in the 1960s, Taiwan had about 700 theaters providing work for billboard painters. In his prime, Yen had his hands full with orders.
好像一个月最多花100多块。
Now, he only gets work from Trenmei.
现在就比较少了。 就现在前面那戏院前面呢，差不多4套了，画一天就画好了，有差不多，如果要都2天。
The billboards are too big and too expensive to save each one. When a new film comes out, the old boards are painted over. Some of Yen's best paintings are now only memories.
画了一个，这个人像很大，大概一个嘴巴就这么大，很大很大心。 那个画的很棒啊！那时候没有摄影机，没有办法留起来。
Taiwan's living national treasure now gives lessons on weekends to pass on his techniques, but he has no illusions about the fate of his profession.
到现在还没找到一个像我这样的，没有那么厉害的。
Yen says he now saves some of his favorite paintings, and he takes photos of other creations he likes. But as he puts the finishing touches on this Barbie billboard, it's only a matter of time until Yen hangs up his brush for good. Scott Huang and Philip Broussard for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website and follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, check out this piece by U.S. choreographer Trajo Harrell performed at the Paris Autumn Festival. I'm Ethan Liu. Take care, and I'll see you next time.